Welcome back to College 101. Today we're going to be talking about internships. I'm sure you've probably heard a lot about them. I've mentioned them a few times in my videos about how great they can be. So I want to tell you what they are, how they work, and why they're such an awesome program for you to take part in. So first of all, an internship is when you go work for a company while you're still a student. So you might be a full-time employee or a part-time employee, but either way, you're heavily supervised and you're only temporary. To explain how an internship works, typically they're like a 10 to 15 week program, mostly during the summer, where you'll go to a work location for an established company and work for them full time. My internship experience was I worked for Valero twice, once in a spring semester, which they actually kind of called a co-op instead of an internship, same thing sort of. You are assigned a mentor, you're in a specific department, and you're typically given projects to work on for the course of that internship. At the end of the internship, you're going to give a presentation to maybe your boss or even the boss's boss, the director of your department, and so they can see what you've done for the summer and evaluate your performance. Based on that, they'll decide whether or not they'll ask you to come back the next year or extend you a full-time job offer. Internships also often have big events. For example, when I worked at Valero, they had a summer intern symposium where they brought everybody to headquarters, put you up in a hotel for 2 days, you took classes, you met VPs, and you did a lot of networking and met the other interns at other locations. That was a great opportunity. It was a lot of fun, and you got to see more of the company culture than just your one isolated department and manager. I'm going to make another more in-depth video talking about my personal internship experience, what projects I did, what I liked and didn't like about them, and how I decided what to do with my career after that. So if you'll be interested in that, keep an eye out, click that notification bell so that you'll know when it's coming. Internships are vital because you and all of your other college peers are kind of the same, especially at the same school. You took the same classes, had the same professors, did the same group projects. A lot of it is the same. Taking an internship with a company can really help separate you from your peers and make you more memorable and experienced and attractive in the eyes of recruiters and companies in the future. Internships are usually in your chosen field or at least related. And this is great because unlike most other jobs you might work in high school or college, they are relevant to what you're going to school for, and nothing can beat relevant experience when you're applying to jobs in the future. The second advantage is it gets you an in with a specific company. And depending on how much you like your internship and how much you like that company, this can be a great thing for your career and reduce your stress levels a lot in college. Once you're already there, you have been through it once, you're in their system, they know a lot more about you. The purpose of an internship from a college's perspective is basically to do a test run of future employees. So if they like you, they're paying and training you for cheap because you don't have a degree yet, and they can invite you back without doing a bunch of headhunting and recruiting. On the other hand, if they don't like you, then there's no hard feelings at the end of the semester. Well, there might be some hard feelings on your part if they don't give you a job offer, but it's part of the arrangement that it's temporary and has a defined endpoint. A lot of really large companies have really well fleshed out internship programs where they're recruiting people 2 or 3 years out. They might take a sophomore, have them intern 2 or 3 times, and then hire them full time, so they really know what they're getting into. Other companies might not be quite as organized, and they mostly look at juniors or maybe try and get you to work part-time during your senior year. But these companies can still be great, and internships are still worth it for the experience and the networking capabilities. All right, break time. So there was a student who was having a hard time finding a good summer job for his junior year. So he went out and took a little bit of money and he bought a tiny little rowboat and he named it Intern. Now he goes around and tells people that he found an internship. If you like that joke or the content of this video and this channel, click the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you thought that joke was totally uncalled for, please subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and come let me know on every single video how unacceptable you think my puns are. Another great thing about an internship, at least in the STEM world and the business world, I don't know about every field, but most of the time internships are going to be paid, especially if you're working for a company. If you're interning like with a lab on campus, maybe not quite so much, but if you're going to go be working for a company like Amazon or Facebook or Google or whatever it might be, those are the big names for tech people, then they're going to pay you. And in my personal experience, they'll typically pay you about 60 to 70% of what you would make as a graduate. So if your outlook when you graduate is going to be making about $50,000 a year or about $25 an hour, I would expect as an intern, you'd be making anywhere from, let's say, $17 to $19. Or if it's a really big company that's going to pay you more than $50,000, well above the average, you might be making $25 or $28 or $30 as an intern, which it's hard to beat that money while also getting really great relevant experience. Another advantage of internships for the student is that it can lead to a full-time job offer. Like I talked about, especially if you can get one during your sophomore year, then it will help you progress through the company. They might invite you back as a junior, and then they'll give you a job offer for when you graduate. On the other hand, if you get an internship with a smaller company, maybe a local company, your sophomore year, then you can use that experience to differentiate you from other students and get a better internship your junior year. Maybe go try and intern with that dream company that's the reason why you chose your major. However, if you do stick with your original company, it's great because you don't have to worry about all the career fairs, the interviews, the info sessions, the resume reviews that all the other students are doing during recruiting season, which makes you able to focus on your classes or just kick back and relax a little more while your peers are all stressing. The last most important reason for why internships are so important is they let you know if you've chosen the right major. Now, every internship is different, so I'm not saying that if you hate your first internship, you have to go switch your major. But if you don't like anything about it, you might want to start looking around at other industries that your major is compatible with. For example, as a chemical engineer, there are lots of fields you can work in. You can work in automotive, you can work in aerospace, oil and gas, renewables. And so if you work in one of these and you don't like it, maybe just try targeting a different industry within your major. There are also a lot of majors that are fairly flexible. So let's say maybe you're a finance major, but you find out that you don't really like being a financial analyst. Maybe you can pivot without changing your majors to go work in a related field like HR or supply chain or general business administration. And that way you don't have to set yourself back by re-choosing a major and retaking a bunch of classes. You can finish with your degree and continue on in a career path that's adjacent to the one you currently have. Or ultimately, if you just don't like your internship at all and you think it's because that field isn't for you, then it's good to know as early as possible. So if you can get that internship your sophomore year and figure that out, you probably haven't taken that many classes, and so it's not going to delay your graduation all that much. Thanks for watching this episode of College 101 here on the College Guide. We'll see you next time.